Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
All right, sister. Let's talk about this for a moment, shall we? Let's have this conversation. Whew. Get the kids off to school. All right. So I've talked about this in recent podcasts, kind of touched on this a little bit. But it's something that was a big aha for me recently. And, this is why, too, I've talked about a lot in recent episodes of just, it is the simple things. It is the simple truths, the simple principles that have such depth to them. This isn't about, teach me something new, Karen. This is about you hearing, most likely, some of the messages that you've heard before, but maybe you're hearing it from me for the first time and it's something different, or maybe you're hearing it in a different way. This is why, there's different people that we might connect with or not connect with, or resonate or not resonate with. There are teachers and messages all around us to guide us. And really, a lot of these messages, spoiler alert, are the same. They just are in different packages, But this is the one that came true for me recently and was just like a holy shit moment, right? So here's how this goes. It's joy first. It's gratitude first. It's feeling good first. We often think it's the other way around, which kind of looks like this. Well, once I have the thing, or once my body heals, or once things, get a certain way with these people or a person in my life, or once we move to the thing, or once I get the job, or I land the clients, or have this money in the bank, then I will be fill in the blank, right? Happy, content, at peace, relaxed, fulfilled, whatever. But here's the thing, okay? That is not the way that it works. It is not the way that it works. Creation, goals. Now, you're going to hear this and you're going to go, but wait a second. But there's been times when I've been in this state of stress and fear and stuff still happened. I could create in that. Yeah, I get you. There's exceptions to every rule, right? There's times that things are going to kind of scrape through the gate. But this is not how this typically works. How this typically works is not get the thing, complete the goal, accomplish whatever it is, succeed, and then feel a certain way. It's not. It's feel a certain way, and then you're able to create. Be in a state of joy, of love, of gratitude, of flow, of ease, of grace, of forgiveness, of fun, of joy, and attract the thing that you want. It's not the other way around. Now, here's the conundrum with this, right? It's kind of like, okay, Karen, so if I want to, attract the thing, but I'm just I'm so stressed out and I don't feel like it, or I feel like nothing's working for me, and, I'm pushing, which, by the way, can be one indication of it's not working for you. If you're having to go at that kind of level, right, and it's not going anywhere. Isn't this crazy thing we think, well, I'm not pushing hard enough, so therefore I must push harder. Let me do the same thing, but more of it, even though I'm not getting a result. I'll just do the exact same thing. I'm going to use the same strategy. I'm just going to do more of it. Yeah, that's it. And that doesn't work. And then we beat ourselves up because we feel like we did it wrong. Well, in a way, you kind of did. It's just you weren't listening and looking and saying, you know what, maybe there's another way. And this is what opened up for me when I was reading in one of my recent books. It's just oh my God. I didn't understand this whole concept of feeling good. It's feel good, whatever. That sounds great. That's all woo-woo. Good for you. Go feel good, have a good time. That kind of thing. I got shit to do. That was my old MO, That was my way of being, or what I thought was my way of being. was more my false, my ego self, but being open to something like, okay, let me just be open to what I'm reading right now. And then it literally, that lightning bulb moment of just like, oh my God, it just cracked me right open. And I went, got it. I've been doing it backwards. Most of us do it backwards. Like, holy shit. So if you are not in that place of like, this is again when joy, when gratitude are a practice. Even having fun, right? Like think of it this way, okay? So if you're going through something really significant, right? Something's happening with your health, something about relationships in your life. Maybe there's been a loss. Like my father just passed away 4 weeks ago tomorrow as I record this episode. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know, grief is, and I'm helping my mom kind of navigate through her grief. She's been, you know, with my dad for 62 years. Like, talk about a change in identity, even though, you know, his health has been failing for quite some time and lots of other pieces to this, but it doesn't make it any easier, right? And so I'm helping my mom through her grief, which is the experience I never really thought of. Oh yeah, what would happen if my dad passed first and then my mom is having a hard time? Oh, and also too, my mom has significant dementia, so then we got that layer to it, right? So I could very easily be like, there's nothing to be, where's the joy? It sucks right now. That's horrible. It's not good, right? I'm feeling like heavy at times. Grief kind of comes in these waves, and it's just, you know, it just is. And I'm allowing myself to feel these things as they come up. But yet, there's joy in the pieces, right? There's joy in the pieces. And what I'm really discovering is that the movement through grief is to reach for joy, And it doesn't mean that you negate the stuff that's happening, maybe the really heavy stuff, the really painful stuff, the really serious stuff in your life. No, not at all. It's not about an either or. You don't go, well, I'm going to either feel sad or I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel, you know, pain or I'm going to feel ease. I'm going to feel, you know, despair or I'm going to feel hope. No, it's not. It's not an either or. It's an and. And let me give you a really good example of this. You know, when you'll have an experience in your life where things are just really hard and you're crying and then maybe something else happens and then you start laughing, right? Like there's laughter through the tears. Why do we love movies so much that move us, you know? Where we're laughing one minute, we're crying the next, we're feeling joy, we're watching this story play out, these characters, what they're going through. Like we laugh and then we cry, right? Both feel good in a lot of ways. That release, that movement of emotion, energy and motion. We're moving that. We're feeling those things. They happen together often, not separately. So why do we think then sometimes that it's not okay for us to find joy, even if just for a moment, in like really tough times? Like it is literally your soul. And listen, it's not spiritual bypassing. It's not just skating over and skirting over the issue. It's not. It's realizing it doesn't have to be in that heavy space all the time. It's a piece of your soul, I believe, a piece of your heart that's just saying, listen, the light is coming. Don't be attached to when that's going to be, but you know, you will be stepping into the light fully again. This is just simply, this is a period of dark. This is a period of heavy stuff. And there's all sorts of things inside this for you. And I know that you can't see it right now, but like, it will be okay. So continue to reach for the joy, the moments, smiling at your children, being silly and laughing with them, you know, smiling at a stranger, holding the door for somebody. Like, be very aware as well, too. Here's one thing I'm going to also encourage you. Be very aware that when you are in a state of a really tough time in life, which we all go through, and if that is you and you feel like you're all alone, you are not alone, sister. I know your ego, your small self, your false self is trying to tell you that you're all alone. I know Because mine did for a long, long time and still does. I see her pop up and I'm like, I see you saying that nobody gets me. But I'm just going to put you aside here right now because I have no time in my day right now to deal with, not to deal with that, but to give energy to that. I see you, I acknowledge you. Now step aside. And I'm going to choose something different in this moment and not the fearful thought and not the despair and not the lack of hope. That when you continue to reach for the joy, this is how you move, not just pop out of it, this is how you move through the tough times, is to reach for the joy. And so how do you do that, Karen? How do you do that? Well, there can be certain, there can be things like mantras that you say, but listen, like, you got to really believe it. This isn't about, like, again, you just, faking it kind of thing. I mean, maybe sometimes, but here's what I've found to be the most helpful for me and for my clients is there is some sort of action. So by the way, mantras can be an action, right? You can start saying those things, those I am statements, those powerful statements in the affirmative, not I am never doing that again. I am not trusting anybody. No, not that stuff. In the affirmative of what you're wanting to create in that moment. Okay, because the future is created in the present moment. It's not created by being in the past. It's not created by being in the future. It's created now in this moment. Right? Think if a farmer's like planting a crop, seeds are planted or, however that goes down. Sorry, I'm not a big gardener. Seeds are planted. And then this is like, it's in this now moment where the crop is created, right? Yes, there's going to be steps along the way, but the watering, and then there's like sunshine, maybe some nutrition for the whatever's being grown, but like it's created in the now moment, the future, that crop. Your creation, your garden, if you speak metaphorically, is no different. It's created now in this moment. So what are actions that you can take? Well, you got to get still. I did a Facebook post about this the other day of just like, how do you know what's going to move you closer to joy? And I don't mean if you're in like the place of like fear and despair and like hopelessness to be at the top of the scale of like, joy. Like, no. There's a progression, right? So you got to respect that progression as you move up, but you'll start to move up that scale and just kind of be a little better and maybe move up to, to guilt and maybe move up to blame and maybe, you're going to find yourself moving up that, right? But action is the way out of this. So here's your more tip then, okay? So just get still, close your eyes, breathe, and just ask yourself this question. What would bring me joy right now? What would bring me joy right now? And just be quiet and still and listen. So I'm going to share with you things that bring me joy. They don't have to be yours. Okay? Or they could be yours. I don't know. But just what is truly your things that bring you joy. Okay? So I can tell you what things are for me. Listening to music. Okay? It can be relaxing, calming, musing, instrumental, classical music. It can be depending on what I want to create. If I really want to shift to that higher vibration of I'm really low, that I'm going to put on music that makes me want to like rap and sing and dance. Okay? Dancing is the other thing. Dancing in my house, in my kitchen, by myself, dancing around with my kids who look at mommy like she's crazy. Don't care. Like it just moving my body. Also moving my body through exercise brings me to joy. So as I finish up this episode, I already have my running tights on, dropped off the kids. I've got my shoes on. Like I'm going to grab a quick glass of water and then out I go. I'm going to start running like right away. So movement for me is a big thing that brings me joy. Anything that helps me be present brings me joy. Okay? It could be also watching something like a funny video, a YouTube video. It could be, and I don't care, whatever it is, it could be watching a funny show. It could be that you're just kind of being silly with your kids. Like that brings me joy. Creation. I mean, I like to cook. I like to bake. That brings me joy. Seeing my kids eat the food that I have made feels good to me. Like it's good. I feel like I've really cared for my children. I know they're getting good food. I know there's been love put into that, Even just cleaning my house can bring me joy, and being in a clean house, I bought flowers the other day and I was like, flowers bring me joy, like beauty, Taking care of myself, even if I don't feel like it. Like today's a bit of a cooler day, kind of knowing I'm going for a run. I'm not showering first, but I could easily just kind of put my hair up in a bun or a ponytail after I come back from run. I'm like, no, I'm going to wash my hair. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to straighten my, like doing that, right? Simple things like getting like a new lip color or lip gloss, lipstick, like something that just makes me feel beautiful. Like that brings me joy. And I'm going to encourage you that the simpler, the better. Okay? Because if it involves like, oh, when I go out with my friends, it gives me joy. But then if you make it where you got to arrange things and, or, it could certainly be of when you go to a yoga class or if like a spin class or you get in the pool and swim. But again, if those are things where there's barriers, like certainly do it where maybe you have those other things which bring you joy that involve others. You got to arrange time for sitter with the kids or someone to watch the kids, your husband watch the kids, or when the classes are, and that's fine. But don't have all of those in your joy bucket, if you will, right? Like have things which are simple, like just breathing, 5 deep breaths with your eyes closed, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. And when you breathe in through your nose, your belly expands. When you breathe out through your mouth, your belly then kind of, retracts. Like deep belly breathing. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's sitting and reading for 10 minutes. Like what brings you joy? Simple things that you can access in a moment. Okay, that doesn't even require anything except you. So when you find yourself in those places, when you're in those dark times, when you're going through challenging things, it's not about denying the stuff that you're feeling. Yeah, you got to feel the stuff. But then where do you go from there? Something that's come really true for me, and I notice with my clients too, if we continue to repeat the story of what we don't like happening in our life right now, don't be surprised when we just we put more energy into that, more energy into the things that we don't want, the life that we don't want. Basically the universe, God is going, okay, we got that really clear and we just keep sending all the stuff you don't want, but like, sister, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Doesn't mean you can't ever have a negative thought. Of course not. Let's not be silly, okay? Let's not be so afraid of negativity and all those kind of, like somehow that's going to derail everything. No, you're a human being. That shit is going to come up. Address it, acknowledge it. It just wants to be seen, okay? Just think of them like little children, your emotions. I talked about this in a podcast a while back as that analogy, like, oh, there's that little fear, right? This is part of you. This is your inner child that's trying to just be seen and heard. I see you, fear. I see you, rage and anger. I see you, jealousy. I see you, humiliation. I see all of these things. I see you, fear. I see you. I see you. I see you. I acknowledge you. I love Gabby Bernstein uses this method in her new book, which is called Super Attractor, which is something like the choose again method, or I guess something about choosing method. Anyways, where it's just like, it's acknowledging it. Like, thank you for showing me what I don't want, or what I don't want to feel, so I can get clear on what I do want to feel and what I do want. And then doing that action or having that mantra that's then going to ground you back and start to move you up to reach for joy again. Feel the feels, move through it. And then what is the next thing that's going to bring me towards joy? However small, one little step forward to joy, and do that thing. It's a big thing, sister. Do that thing. So I have something exciting. I think I mentioned this in the last podcast episode, but I have a brand new one-on-one coaching program that I would love to invite you to apply to. But here's the thing. This is who it's for. Okay. It is called 30 Days. My one-on-one coaching has always been 90 days, so 3 months to actually even up to 6 months. I've worked with clients at a time. And I'm realizing there's a lot of women that just aren't there yet. And like, that's okay. Like they just not able or willing or just not in the space to invest that amount of time, energy, money. So this came to me last week, which is just as an inspiration of like, what if I did something for 30 days? And I just sat with that and it started to grow and grow. So this is how 30 Days was created. So 30 days where you and I work together one-on-one based on your goals, your needs, the outcomes that you want to create, that we co-create together in your life, giving you the tools, the strategies that you will have a tool each week over those 4 weeks to work on and we connect in and we move towards that goal. And so this is for women that are just like, you're at either a really big thing that's happened in your life, a really big crisis, a really big crossroads, a really big holy shit moment where you just don't know what to do anymore. Like you've been trying all sorts of stuff and it's just not working. And you're just kind of like, I'm going to raise my hand and be like, I need help. I cannot do this on my own. Which, by the way, sidebar, none of us can. And you go, all right, it's ready now for me to ask for help. Like I'm ready. I need to have some help. There's nothing wrong with that. There's actually everything right with that. And I can continue trying to figure things out on my own. Or you know what? Why don't I actually apply and see if this would actually work? This is a fit for me to actually apply and work with Karen so I can actually get there faster. Wow, what a concept. I've been there too. We're like, no, I'm just going to keep reading books and listening to podcasts and doing the things. And then I started to hire coaches and I was like, oh man, that works way faster. How about that, right? So if this is you, if you were kind of really feeling this, you've been hearing this message or you've been hearing me talk about the other one-on-one coaching, which is 90 days. There's still a couple spots available for this, but there's 10 spots, only 10 that are open for this. I already have 2 women getting on the phone with this week, early in the week. I have 2 more that are either past clients or existing clients that are, looking to kind of to renew. And so like these 10 spots are going to fill up fast, sister. Okay. So here's what you need to do. Email me, drkarenosburn@gmail.com, drkarenosburn@gmail.com. Simply say, I'd like to apply for 30 days. Okay. And I will connect with you and let you know the next step from there. So just email me to apply for 30 days, drkarenosburn@gmail.com. Also, P.S., this is a perfect program for you. If this is you, that you really want to work through this stuff, but you don't want to be in a group. Okay. Because I feel you. I've been in those spaces where what you're going through is really sacred and really private. And it's not something you want to share with a large amount of people. Okay. So I really do respect that. So this is something that came through to me today of just like, I need to make sure that when I speak into this on the podcast that I really say, this is also for you if you're wanting to keep things really private. It's things that are really difficult right now and you don't want to share with a lot of people. And I honor and respect that. And it's important to listen to that, okay? You got to share your story and the things that are happening with your life with people that are safe and neutral. This is why something like a coach, like with me, is a very beautiful, solution to move through because, listen, I don't have any emotional attachment to you. I love you. You're part of the community. You're part of this movement. But there's nothing else. And my place is just simply that of service, serving you. What do you need? And let's work together to get you there. Okay, so send me an email, drkarenosburn@gmail.com, and simply say, I'd like to apply for 30 days. All right, sister. I will talk to you in the next episode. A life of more. It really is one step away of reaching for joy as much as you can every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.